Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Friday, October 4th, 2019. I want to apologize for being an idiot. I didn't realize how early the baseball games were starting today. And when I got the alert that the Astros game was underway, jumped on it real quick, and there was just a straightforward riddle. I got it out in about the middle of the second inning for any of those. So you who do real-time betting saw that it was 226 days after Verlander's birthday, and he could become 22-6. That looked pretty golden. And should have had that out last night. So I'll make sure that doesn't happen again. Apologies. Just goes to show you how few people watch baseball postseason games in the middle of the day when everyone's working. So we're going to talk college football, baseball, and NHL as well. So far, the NHL surface level riddles at the beginning of the season are off to a hot start. 2 out of 3 of our assumptions came true opening night. Yesterday, all the games that we were looking at on the surface level went the way we expected. And see if we can do it again today. So I know a number of people asked for this UCF-Cincinnati game. The thing that screamed out right away is that if UCF won, they'd be 5-1. We know how much that number hits in Cincinnati because Cincinnati equals 51. So does UCF. They're both 51. So that right there jumps out. Overlap numbers, when 2 teams connect to a certain number, those numbers come through at a very high percentage. So I like that right off the top. Plus, there's a few other things that make sense here. So again, UCF can improve to 5-1 tonight. The date numerology is 53. UCF Knights is 53. Knights is 101. 101 is the 26th prime. We have 26 date numerology. There was an early hockey game today that Philadelphia won. I have a feeling, even though I didn't put notes, I have a feeling some of the veterans around here probably took advantage of that. Philadelphia 101-26. Those numbers come through a lot. So Philadelphia beat the Blackhawks earlier today. What's interesting about this meeting between these two teams is it's 321 days after the last meeting. Cincinnati Bearcats equals 321. So does University of Central Florida. So this is why they're playing today. UCF won the last game 38-13. Notice the 51 combined points. Again, UCF's 51, Cincinnati's 51. In that 38 score, that's the only thing that I could see going wrong today against UCF. I doubt it does, but I always like to throw out the devil's advocate narrative. If the UCF coach lost today, he'd be 16-3 for his career, kind of like 163, the 38th prime. But again, I don't think that that's going to be what it is. If Luke Fickell loses today, he'll be 3-2 on the season. Fickell equals 131, the 32nd prime. That's the Cincy coach. And looking down the schedule, if UCF wins this game next week and the week after, which is against Temple, they'll be 7-1, and that's perfect because Temple equals 71. So it looks like UCF should win their next 3 games. Also, if Cincy loses tonight, they'll face Houston next, 3-2, and Houston equals 32. So I really like the 51 overlap, UCF getting to 5-1. As for the over-under, that's tough. The date numerology is beneath it. Again, UCF Knights does equal 53. Could there be 53 points in the game? It's possible. Again, the score of the last game was 51 combined points. So it doesn't mean that it won't go to the over, but the name of the stadium where the game is Nippert Stadium, 68. So hard to tell on the over-under, but UCF looks good to win in my opinion. And the other game that's on tonight, non-ranked game, the riddle isn't as strong here. Usually the ranked games have better riddles than the non-ranked games. Not always, but usually. New Mexico is 5-12-1 versus San Jose State all-time. And they are 3-6 at San Jose State. And as I say that, let me check something. I think it's just now dawning on me what I saw earlier. San Jose Start. No, it's not that. New Mexico Lobos. Hold on, the phone's ringing in the background. Caller?
Zach, just wanted to say thank you for covering the Cincinnati game as you said you would.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Very welcome. All right, take care, man. See you. Okay, what was it that I saw? I know I saw... Was it the name of the stadium? I saw 199 when I was looking at this game, and I didn't connect it to anything. But now 199 is the 46th prime. CEFCU Stadium? Could it have been that? What was it? It was... Okay, the stadium is 199, the 46th prime. Let me plug that in here to the notes. That would be the upset narrative. If they won and became 4-6 there. Okay, hold on. What is it? CEFCU Stadium equals 199, 46th prime. About the last caller who just called and thanked me, you know, you guys, sometimes people call in and ask me to do things, and I say I will, and then I don't. And it's not because I meant to go against my word, it's just that I forgot because I'm trying to keep up with so many things. So, if I've ever done that, I do apologize. But, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there too. So, okay, they could improve to 4-6. That would be the upset narrative. New Mexico's a 6.5 point underdog. The over-under's at 69. New Mexico Lobos is 69. Let me get rid of this note here. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
This is Brady. I wanted to make a quick point about the hockey. Remember on the second, that fourth game between Las Vegas and whoever they were playing? I googled the LA or the AHL, and then their other farm team, the ECHL, is the Chicago Wolves and the Fort Wayne Comets. If you put in Fort Wayne Comets ECHL equals 102 and 103.
Okay, and whose farm team was that again?
For Las Vegas's farm team.
Okay, the Golden Knights farm team.
So I think we might need to go down to the if we don't see something on the main read, go down to the AHL or the ECHL.
Okay, that's an interesting thought. Okay, so again, it's the year of the 102nd Stanley Cup, but also the 103rd season, and the Las Vegas farm team has a 102 and 103 connection. That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, thanks, man. Caller? Caller? Hello? Hello? Might be a pocket dial. Maybe he didn't mean to call me. Okay, so anyway, this game, there wasn't anything really screaming out about this game. I just caught the potential upset through the stadium name. It's a thought. It's possible. But nothing really jumped out with the coaches. Nothing really jumped out with the head-to-head, the date numerology. I looked ahead to their next opponents. New Mexico plays the Rams next. That's the Colorado State Rams. Right, Colorado State. And Rams has the Gematria 15 and 24. If the Rams lose this week, they'd be 15. If they won, they'd be 2-4. But if New Mexico lost today and their next game against the Rams, they could fall to 2-4, which is possible. All right, hold on. Caller?
Hello, Zach.
Hello.
Hey, it's Walter. How you doing?
Doing great. I received your package today. Thank you very much.
Did you get it? Good.
Thank you so much. I got it right here.
I was calling to ask you. What's a good email address? I want to email you, man.
Best email is probably gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com.
Okay, so you'll get it if I email you there?
I sure will.
Okay, great. I'm going to send you an email, buddy. I'm watching I've been a member of Patreon for like 6 or 7 months or whatever, how long you had it on. And this is the first time I'm watching it, man. So
Okay.
maybe I was thinking about maybe making a bet today.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, Jack.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Take care. Okay. So if New Mexico lost the next two games, their record would make a little bit of sense against the Rams. And then San Jose State plays the Nevada Wolfpack next. If they won tonight and lost the next game, they'd be 3-3. Their next game's at Nevada, who's the better team, so you'd assume that they'd probably likely lose that game to Nevada. If they won tonight and lost the next one, it would make them 3-3 versus the Wolfpack. Wolfpack's 33. So I don't know. I'd just stay away from this game, honestly. I don't see anything there that gives me any great confidence. It's always fun to pick an underdog, and the underdog prayer would have to be this stadium riddle. But again, looking at the next games, it's like, I'm not so sure. So anyway, that's college football. The UCF Cincinnati game, to me, is the smarter game. So close that here. MLB, when I realized the game had started, I was like, oh crap, I don't even know what the start time is. But I looked it up. It started at 4:05 Houston time. And anyway, just once I started to look at it, I was like, oh, today's 226 days after Verlander's birthday, and he can become 22-6 on the season, plus Tampa Bay wears the TB on their hat. T's 20, B's 2, 22. Perfect team to get the 22nd win against. Pretty sure that's exactly what he did. Let me check the box score real quick. All right, Braves are up early on the Cardinals like yesterday. Hopefully it stays that way. Apologies to my man in Atlanta. He had the right read on that right off the bat. I hope I didn't take him off it. Yeah, Verlander did get the win, so Verlander became 22-6 for the year, 226 days after his birthday. Couldn't have scripted it any better. The next game, the game that's underway right now, the start time was 37 minutes after. Typically, when the start time syncs with a team, and usually in the playoffs, they have a lot of awkward start times that sync with teams. Now that I think about it, does Verlander have that 45 connection? You know what? Verlander does have the 45 connection. That's probably why they started the game at 4:05 local. So oftentimes the start time will point to the team, but sometimes it could be somebody like the pitcher. And Verlander's kind of like, maybe the biggest name in Major League Baseball right now. Well, he'd be right up there at the top. Among pitchers, he is. So that's probably why that game started at 4:05. But anyhow, today's game starts at 37 minutes after. Of course, Atlanta Braves equals 37. We talked yesterday about how if the Braves and the Cardinals split these first two games, the Cardinals would lead the Braves 11-5 in the playoffs in the postseason all time. So if the Braves win today, that's what it's going to be. Cardinals will lead 11-5, like 1-1-5. It's the year of the 115th World Series. St. Louis equals 115. Shout out to a great caller in Arizona. He pointed out that if St. Louis did make the World Series and it went to Game 7, that would be 11 weeks and 5 days. Where did I put it at? Yeah, Game 7 is 11 weeks and 5 days after the Cardinals manager's birthday. So, should the Cardinals make it to the World Series, do remember that, because that's probably a sign it's going to Game 7. And keep in mind, St. Louis equals 43, right? 4-3. Okay. So, all right, so based on the start time and the fact that 1-1-5 riddle can hit, I'm leaning Braves. Obviously, the game's already underway. They're up early. They were yesterday, and then they blew it. The Braves have lost 9 straight playoff series. Today is the day leaving 88 days left in the year. St. Louis Cardinals is 88. We just saw the death of Bill Bidwell at age 88. This is part of the reason I was thinking the Braves would take it yesterday and the Cardinals today, but now that they took it yesterday, and the start time and everything, it's looking better for the Braves today. There are a number of riddles here that could go in St. Louis' favor for them to win the series. Again, they are the only team left with the 115 connection. There's also the thought, though, if St. Louis got eliminated, they would have 120 losses in the postseason, and Atlanta equals 120, so it makes that tough. to call who wins the series. But good observation is about how the Cardinals manager Game 7 is 11 weeks and 5 days after his birthday. That's Game 7 of the World Series, the 115th World Series. Twins and Yankees, personally I'd stay away from this game today. The start time is 7:07 local Eastern time. Yankee Stadium is 77, so that on the surface is a good sign for the Yankees. If the Yankees won today, they'd be 5-2 versus the Twins. We've seen Minnesota 52 patterns hit all year for us. That looks good for the Yankees. If they lost, they'd be 4-3 versus the Twins. New York Yankees 191, the 43rd prime. If the Yankees win today, I imagine they win tomorrow as well, because that would drop the Twins to 2-6 versus the Yankees for the season. Yankees is 26, and personally I'd wait to make sure the Yankees won today, and this is the reason why. If the Yankees lost today, they'd be 13-3 versus the Twins in the postseason all time. Minnesota's 133. So the more potent of these Minnesota numbers is definitely 52. We document a lot of 52 with the Twins this year. We won a lot on Twins 52 riddles. But this one still, it just gives me pause. I like to make gambling as little of a gamble as possible. I don't like when you get riddles like this on both sides. I do think things are a little bit better for the Yankees, but this one freezes me up right here. If the Twins got swept in this series, which is possible, they'd stay on 33 postseason wins. We know New York's 33. It's not out of the question. Barrios comes into the game 14-8 for the season. If he lost, he'd be 14-9, like 149, the 35th prime. Yankees does have that 35 connection as well. He's 0-1 in the playoffs. Let me see. I should have noted it's his 131st day of his age. That's the 32nd prime. Twins does have the 32 connection. Let me just plug that in here real quick. Let's see. 131, 32nd prime. Twins equals 32. So, pitching on an interesting date. Paxton, who's been great for the Yankees this year. Hold on, we got a caller here. Caller?
What's going on, Zach?
Hey, man, I hope you heard my apology. I felt bad about the Cardinals outcome. You had that one right yesterday.
Yeah, I went tripping. I took the Braves today, man, because like you said, they should split with prime number things. So I took the Braves today. Looking good right now.
Let's keep it that way.
Yes, sir. And, man, good job, too, man. That hockey, you've been killing hockey. I don't even fuck with hockey, but I hit on it the first night when you said both teams, the Washington and St. Louis, when you was like, if Washington go to overtime and lose, both of them have 102 or 103 or something like that. Yeah, I appreciate that. I hit on the draw on that game. But what I called you for, though, Minnesota. Oh, yeah, 2 million. Look, I got a parlay. Houston just won. So I got Philly in New England already stamped huge, but I got the Yankees in the same parlay. So I'm trying to see, should I hedge before the game come on
you're gonna have to. You've been doing well, man.
Just read it right.
I think you're doing better than me. So I'd stick to your guns and whatever you're thinking. I'm just a little bit worried about that 13-3 riddle there. So.
Okay, but look, I might have a stat that can trump everything because if I hedge, like basically I'm already up. You see what I'm saying? But if the Yankees lose, it'll kill me. So I'm trying to figure out, should I kind of break even and hedge it? But check this out. Yankees have beaten Minnesota 11 straight playoff games. You might want to look that up.
So they could get their 12th straight, and Yankees is 37, the 12th prime. Okay.
Right. But yup, I heard it on the sports show today. I didn't see it written down, but the sports show that I listened to, they not on no bullshit, so I know that was pretty accurate.
Yeah, so, I'm sure it is.
They got an 11-game win streak.
New York's the 11th state. Big number there with New York. We know Yankees is 37, the 12th prime, so I mean that could make sense. Again, the start time looks good for the Yankees. Becoming 5-2 against the Twins this year makes sense. I'd think about hedging just because of the 13-3 thing, but then you're going to be pissed because then you're going to miss all your winnings. So I'll let you make the call, man. That's a tough spot, though.
Right. So you saying the only thing for Minnesota that was the only thing you think for Minnesota was
That 13-3, yeah, because Minnesota is 133. So.
I got you. All right. I'll let you.
Well, here. While you're on the phone, I'm sure you're gonna listen, but just a few other things just to point out. Paxton, he's 15-6 for the season. If he wins, he'll get his 16th win on the 53-date numerology, 16th prime. If he lost, though, he'd be 15-7, 157, 37th prime. Yankees, 37. So that's one thing that could go against Paxton. Paxton's got a nice birthday alignment, though. It's his 333rd day of his age. It's also 33 days before his upcoming birthday, New York numbers. And
yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I thought it was weird they bring him up to start when they got stronger. I know the other guy got suspended, but I was just wondering why they bring him up to start, and it's kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I thought too. Because exactly, why is he the number one guy to start the series? It's got to be that 33 thing with New York. So.
Okay, all right. Well, shit, I just let it ride out, man. I'll let it ride out.
All right, I'm cheering for you. All right.
I appreciate it.
All right, take care, man. See you. Okay. All right. Okay, so anyway, yeah, the 13-3 just makes it a little bit hairy for me. Yankees are big favorites. There's plenty on the board that's in their favor. It's just I don't like when there's things like that on both sides. So, Nationals and Dodgers, we got a 6:37 start time again, just like yesterday. 37 minutes after. Los Angeles is 37. More often than not, by a big margin in the postseason. And for people who've been following all year, we've talked about this, how when we get to the postseason, we'll see all these funky start times that connect to the cities, and it's typically the winners. And so far in the postseason, that's the way it's been. You know, so we've been able to observe that that's exactly how it is. Now, there's one thing in this game, just like the Yankees game, that gives me pause. I think if the Dodgers win this game, they might very well sweep the series. There's always a chance of a comeback. But the thing that concerns me about this one is the Dodgers are 7-4 now versus the Nationals in the postseason. If the Nationals won today, they would be 5-7 versus the Dodgers, and we know Nationals is 57. So, again, there's so many sports games going on right now. I would be patient and wait for those best games. Again, because it's just like, yeah, the good sign is there for LA, but just the fact that the postseason record could be 5-7, again, it makes that a little bit hairy. So, if the Dodgers lost this series, they'd end up picking up their 130th postseason loss. Washington's 130. We've been talking about all the skull and bones rituals with the Nationals and the Astros/Rangers. So, I mean, that equation's still there. I'm trying to think of the symbolism in the Dodgers winning 6-0 last night. Skull equals 60. Remember how we talked about the 281, the 60th prime? 13's the 6th prime. LA's 13. I was just trying to think about that score last night. If Strasburg lost tonight, the Nationals pitcher, he'd fall to 1-3 in the NLDS. 1-3. And as we know, LA's 13. So that stands out. It's 76 days after his birthday, Strasburg, or his 77th day of his age. Dodger Stadium, 76. He's facing Clayton Kershaw, 77. DC's got the 77 connection, but the game's in LA. Kershaw, he's 9-10 in the postseason. He's 4-4 at home, which is interesting. Dodgers has the 45 connection. Baseball's got the 54 connection, right? I should put that up here. Big baseball number 54. But I was just thinking about the game being on the 10th month, the 4th day. There's a relationship between 10 and 4. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. 10's the 4th triangular number. So if Kershaw became 10-10 on 10-4, I see a little rhyme and reason in that. The Dodgers are 3-0 versus Washington in the playoffs in games Kershaw pitches. 3-0. So LA is 4-13, so you could make an argument either way there. Washington could have a chance to get to 1-3 versus the Dodgers in games Kershaw pitches. It's 199 days after his birthday, the 46th prime. I noticed that if the Dodgers swept the series, Dave Roberts, what did I write here? Dave Roberts would advance on his 129th day of his age. Remember, New York City's 129. We saw some big riddles this MLB season around the number 129. There's that narrative for a Dodgers-Yankees World Series is still there ever since the blackout on July 13th. But Dave Roberts equals 129 and could potentially advance in Game 3 on his 129th day of his age. So, caller?
What's up, Zach? How's it going, brother?
Hey, it's going all right. How are you?
Yeah, man. So I'm looking at the betting line, and I think it favors Washington for this game. I think it's very, very low.
150?
Yeah, you've got Dodger with Kershaw's at minus 150. I think that should be a minus 170, 180, just like last night with Bueller and Corbin.
Well, you got to consider Kershaw has a losing record in the postseason.
What's that? I'm sorry, Zach?
Kershaw has a losing record in the postseason. It's not like he's the greatest postseason pitcher.
True. That's true. I think it's a very, I dig it. I just, if this is regular season, that's probably like a minus 190, 180 probably.
Sure. Well, I mean, to look at it, I mean, Nationals have been playing better at the conclusion of the season than the Dodgers. I do agree, though. The Nationals have a shot here because if the Nationals win, they're going to be 5-7 versus the Dodgers in the postseason, and Nationals equals 57. That's a big number with them. So pretty much what I'm saying is I don't like this game or the Yankees game tonight.
Yeah. No, I agree with that one. Absolutely. I think if it's a pretty ballsy call to go with the Nationals over the Dodgers, I think that maybe on the run line with a run and a half would be pretty good for the overall game.
Sure.
From a betting perspective.
Sure. So just like I was saying, I mean, the earlier games had the better, like Verlander had the best riddle of the day, going for 22-6 on the season, 226 days after his birthday. I mean, those are the kind of riddles you live for. But so anyway, I would exercise patience on some of these postseason games here today.
Yeah. And then Paxton, you covered he's going for 11 in a row?
Caller said that Paxton's going for his 11th straight win today?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get that up on the screen. That's probably part of the reason they got him going, too. Let me pull up his game log.
You might want a quick hockey, I know, quick hockey thing. I was wrong about the Arizona Coyotes. It's actually their 42nd season.
40th. No, they're 40th.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday because the team they opened up against the Ducks were going for their 173rd points all-time against the Coyotes, which is the 40th prime. I was like, how perfect to pick up the 173rd points against the Coyotes to start their 40th season. So
on Wikipedia, it says that it's their 42nd season.
Well, the Hockey Reference site has them at 40. It was the Coyotes' 39th season last year on Hockey Reference. So
Okay. Got it.
I think 40's right.
Very strange.
All right. Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks, man.
You got it.
All right, take care. See you. Caller?
Oh, are you live?
I am live. What's going on?
Just a reminder to put all the links under your new website.
I will do that. All
you have right now is the book.
I'll do that. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
That's all. Bye.
All right, thanks. That's my second E-mom. Okay, so caller is right that Paxton could win his 11th straight game. And it looks like for the Yankees, they won the last game that he pitched, and he only pitched one inning, though. That was on September 27th where they got their 103rd win. So the Yankees have won the last 11 games that he started. Tonight would be the 12th straight win for the Yankees if they got it. Or if he got the decision, it would be... It's crazy that he got the decision in all of his starts. Let me see something about that 15-6, his last... Whoops. Or why am I... Never mind. What's wrong with me? But yeah, what the caller said is right. If he wins tonight, it'll be 11 straight. New York, the 11th state. Let me plug that in the notes here too. Paxton is going for 11th straight win. Okay, so that's baseball. Let's talk a little bit of hockey now. First, we're just going to review what happened the opening night and the second night. So remember, this is the 103rd NHL season that will conclude with the 102nd Stanley Cup because they had a lockout season. National Hockey League equals 102. The first game of the year was the Maple Leafs, who are in their 102nd season. They were big favorites. So we said, well, it's probably symbolic for the Maple Leafs to win. They did. No surprise. Big favorites over the Ottawa Senators. Maple Leafs are one of the best teams in hockey. Senators are probably going to be one of the worst. The Capitals and Blues game. I saw how it was likely that this game would go to overtime, which it did, which is what the caller was talking about. But the outcome of overtime isn't what I thought it would be. So he bet on it to go to overtime, it sounds like, which was a smart move. Had the Blues won in overtime, they would have got their 102nd points against the Capitals. And had the Capitals lost in overtime, they would have finished with 102 points versus the Blues. Because if you lose in overtime, you get 1 point. If you win, you get 2 points. So both teams could have hit the 102, but the Capitals won in overtime, getting to 103 points. We just saw... Oh, hold on, we got another caller here. Caller?
I just want to make sure they're on the same page. So Paxton's going for 11 in a row, but the Yankees are going for 13 in a row today because they won 12 in a row to start.
When he starts, right.
Yeah, so they've gone for 13 and he's going for 11.
TC equals 13, what the Twins wear on their cap. TC, 13.
Yeah, I think that's a really good favorable number. Now, what happens after this game, I'm not sure because you know what 13 and 14 can do. But I think it looks good for the Yankees.
If the Yankees swept the series, the Twins would stay on 33 postseason wins, and they'd be 16-2 versus the Twins in the postseason. Baseball 62, Major League Baseball's 162. I think if the Yankees win this game, they'll probably sweep the Twins. The other point I want to make is, again, 2 series to watch, because I think there'll be parallels between these series, is the Dodgers-Nationals series and the Yankees-Twins series, because the Twins used to be the Washington Senators. So.
Interesting. Okay. Got it. Did you happen to do any research and find out what that losing streak was with Minnesota against the Yankees?
Well, I took that caller's word for it. I don't know how to find the postseason game log for the team on Baseball Reference. I can do an article search to verify it. He calls in with good information, though. I trust him. So.
What did he say?
He said the Yankees have won 11 straight versus the Twins. 11 straight.
11 straight postseason games?
Right. So if they won 3 more, they'd win 14 straight. We know about streaks in 14. Ooh. I think that's why he went big on the Yankees, because he heard that. So.
Interesting. Okay. You know, it's so funny because last year when didn't the Yankees play? Who did they play in the wild card? Do you remember? Was it the Twins or the A's?
Wait, when the Yankees played who?
Last year, did they play the Twins or the A's?
In the postseason?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look.
I remember. Interesting, because I know they made a huge big deal the last time the Twins played the Yankees. Real big deal. I mean, no big deal. I haven't seen it anywhere. So it's very strange. The 4-zip lead in the first inning, and then the Yankees came right back.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and see. Let me see. I'm pulling up 2017 MLB postseason. Yankees beat the Twins 8-4, 2017 MLB wild card.
Yeah, leading up to that game, they made a big deal about the losing streak. So I've been following it. You know, I look up articles, and I haven't seen one thing mentioning the losing streak. Very strange.
Huh. Yeah. All right, man.
But anyway, all right. Thanks,
all right, thanks, Sue. Okay, so this game on the opening night on 10/2, 102, year of the 102nd Stanley Cup, there could have been a perfect 102 ritual in this game. It was close, but instead the Capitals got their 103rd points. And I think that's something to think about because it is the 103rd season. And remember, Scottish equals 103. We saw the women's basketball team, the Washington Mystics, win with 103 points on the day, leaving 103 days left in the year. Capitals, again, they got Ovechkin, star player in the league. And you know what? While I'm at it, let's see how many days the start of the season was from Ovechkin's birthday. September 17th. So that means the season began 15 days after his birthday. DC's 47, 15th prime. He's 34 years old. Hockey's 34. So Ovechkin's 34. Hockey's 34. That's interesting. Is NHL 34 too? Yeah, NHL's 34. Or I'm tripping. Actually, hockey's not 34. It's just NHL. Caller?
Zach.
Yeah.
Type VegasInsider.com, and then once it pops up, click the website, and then go to Major League Baseball, MLB. Click that, and once you click it, scroll down and click Preview. Once you click Preview will take you to, you gotta scroll down a little bit, and it says the Yanks have won 10 straight postseason meetings against the Twins and 13 out of 15 playoff games.
Yeah, I know they're 13-2 against them. So they've won 10 straight. They're going for 11 straight tonight, huh?
Exactly. But if you go to VegasInsider.com, it gives you like a history background on the games that are approaching tonight. Or, it's a pretty good website.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm familiar with the website. I'm trying. Okay, Preview. I see it here. Preview. Okay, maybe I need to start using this website more for game time information, though.
Yeah, they're pretty accurate.
Okay, so I'm on the Preview now, and is it just in the write-up about the... yeah, there it is. The Yankees have won 10 straight postseason. Yep. Okay, I got it. All right.
Narrative, and scroll down. They usually give you the meat and potatoes of what's going on in the series.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice.
Okay, well.
All right, thank you.
Look.
All right, take care. All right, yeah. Okay, I'll remember that about Vegas Insider. I was familiar with the website. I guess I just never used their preview function before. But it was right there. According to this, the Yankees have won 10 straight postseason meetings against the Twins. So New York is the 11th state. Big number there with New York. Paxton, we saw he was going for his 11th straight win. And the only thing I could say about stopping on 10 is, again, it's the fourth day of the 10th month. And when you add 1 through 4 together, it equals 10. So that's a little bit, it's a tough call. New York and 11, though. Big number. Okay, coming back to what I was saying about NHL. Okay, so the Capitals were the team that broke the 102 pattern on the opening night. And then we saw with the Canucks and Oilers, if the Canucks lost, which they went on to do, they would stay on 102 wins on 10/2. National Hockey League 102, that happened. And then the Sharks Golden Knights game, this was the only game that didn't have a connection with 102 or 103 out of the 4 games on opening night. We saw the Sharks coach, it was 111 days after his birthday. Las Vegas Golden Knights equals 111, and they did get the win. The Las Vegas Golden Knights did. That one, though, it was there wasn't much to make a call off of. So last night we did a quick scan of games. We saw the Hurricanes were on 103 losses to the Canadiens on 10/3, and we said, well, they're probably going to stay there on those 103 losses. Hurricanes got the win yesterday. The Sabres and Penguins game. The Penguins had 89 wins versus the Sabres, and the Penguins lost yesterday. They got upset at home. They stayed on 89 wins on the day, leaving 89 days left in the year. I said yesterday riddles like that can be hit and miss, which is true. If you took it, you won. The Sabres were a nice payout, but again, I guess what I'd say is if you're going to take a riddle like that, probably take it with an underdog where you're going to get your money's worth. So, but we've documented plenty of things like this where it didn't come through. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Good job.
What's up, man? You go with the Seahawks yesterday?
Say again?
You take the Seahawks yesterday?
No, I passed. I couldn't make up my mind.
Okay.
I want to point out something, and why I think the Twins are going to eliminate the Yankees. If you go to the mcubesports.com and go to like MLB and then do Yankees versus series record against the Twins.
Here, rather than all that, just hit me with what it is that you're thinking, because I want to get into the hockey, which I'm on right now.
Okay, well, the playoffs, the Yankees are 13-2 against them all time.
Right.
And if you, I think the series is going to go, 3-2 Twins. So it's going to be 15-5, and I think Minneapolis equals 155.
I know Minneapolis equals 55. Let me see if it equals 155.
I thought it was.
Well, you might be right. I know it equals 55. Minneapolis is 55, not 155.
Okay. All right. But the other thing that I saw was if you flip it around, right, and make it 5-5-1, like the reflection, it equals championship and it equals Yankee.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was thinking, all right, like that. And then I also noticed that if you give the Twins 3, I know it sounds crazy, but if you give the Twins 3 wins, like say they go out to Yankee Stadium, beat them twice, then I think the Yankees are going to go back to Minnesota, beat them twice, and then they go back to the Yankees and beat them there. If you give them 3 wins for the Twins, it equals 58, like championship. And then you stay on the 26 away losses, and 26 equals Yankees. Then if you took the home win, like I said, and you don't give them any wins, the 42 equals in Houston, Texas, and they stay on. Then they get 2 losses and 37. That equals Yankees also.
Okay, interesting. Again, I'll remind people, keep your eye on what the Dodgers and Yankees do in their series, because the Washington Senators used to be the Minnesota Twins, and we've seen the riddle with the Yankees and Dodgers. Be interesting if they both got eliminated by the underdogs, but if they both advance over those teams, I think that could be the sign that we were right with our assumption after the blackout in New York. So, all right, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, also to the Yankees, I'm thinking they're going to get that 3 losses because they had 59 losses, and that give them 3 losses and 62, and that's like sacrifice.
Minneapolis does equal 62. That's a Minneapolis connection.
Yeah, where it is. All right, yeah. And it also equals Houston, Texas, too.
Yeah, that's true. It does equal Houston, Texas. All right, man.
Then they go to Houston, Texas. Okay.
All right, appreciate it.
Man.
All right, see you.
Thank you.
Okay, so another game that looked good yesterday, what we saw is, in light of it being the 103rd NHL season, the 27th prime, it's the Lightning's 27th season. And remember, they went out in bad form last year in the postseason. They could get vengeance for that this year. We saw the Lightning could stay on 52 regulation losses versus the Panthers on the 52 date numerology, and they did. Lightning got the win. The Predators, we saw that they could get their 89th points versus the Wild on the day leaving 89 days left in the year. They did. And the Coyotes and Ducks, this one was kind of like, I'm not sure, but it's there. The Ducks did get their 173rd points versus the Coyotes yesterday. That's the 40th prime number, and it's the Coyotes' 40th season. So that's the way the season began. So everything that we were looking at on the surface yesterday went the way that we were leaning. 2 of those games I liked more than others. I liked the Hurricanes riddle a lot, and I like the Lightning riddle. I also like there was 3 of the riddles that I liked. The Predators riddle looked good too. The other ones were there, but they weren't as strong. This one would have been the best payout of the day. Sabres over Penguins. So again, we'll get more in depth in NHL as the season progresses, because the points are a great indicator in the NHL, the season point totals, but you can't do it at the beginning of the year because they don't sync with anything. So you have to look at the team history, the head-to-head, and take what you can. So today, there was an early game today, and you can imagine what we would have said if we looked at this in time. We know about Philadelphia 26 and 101. It's a good pattern for us. Today has 26 date numerology. Philadelphia equals 101, the 26th prime. It's kind of like a number that Philadelphia owns. Don't forget that flag equals 26. Philadelphia, the home of the flag. So Philadelphia ended up winning their first game. Well, yeah, it was their first game of the season. They won today. The final score ended up being 4-3 in the Flyers' favor. So Philadelphia took it, and that has me thinking that 101 and 26 could be a theme in today's games. So the Maple Leafs are favorites on the road against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who finished the season very strong last year. Columbus Blue Jackets equals 53. We got the 53 date numerology. If the Blue Jackets beat the Maple Leafs in regulation, the Maple Leafs will fall to 1-1-0 for the season. Columbus equals 110. If the Blue Jackets beat the Maple Leafs in overtime, the Maple Leafs will be 1-0-1, like 101, the 26th prime on the 26th date numerology. So I think Blue Jackets have a decent shot at an upset here over the Maple Leafs. Do remember it's the Maple Leafs' 102nd season, year of the 102nd Stanley Cup. National Hockey League equals 102. Canada's starved for a Stanley Cup. So, Maple Leafs are a team that could be it this year. I also noticed that if Toronto scored 4 goals in this game, they'd have 88 goals all time against the Blue Jackets. Today leaves 88 days left in the year. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but if the Blue Jackets were going to win the game and the Maple Leafs were going to score 4, you'd probably have a score in the over. Just a thought. And again, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. It's something to observe. So, and honestly, I would just observe. Okay, Jets and Devils. Devils equals 26. You got the 26 date numerology. Today, the Devils could get their 33rd win versus the Jets all time on a lesser date numerology of 33. So, there's that. The Capitals, slight underdogs versus the Islanders. You might recall the Islanders coached the Washington Capitals before last season. He led the Capitals to their championship. What stands out about the Capitals is if they lose today, they'll be 1-0-1. Islanders equals 101. Hold on, we got another call here. Caller?
Hey, what up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Hey, good picks. Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was good. Yeah, it was a good day yesterday.
I sent you some money via PayPal. So
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Also, something that was brought to my attention for those live bettors. There was a last night game for the Thursday night football game. It was televised on Fox, and it was also streamed. I think on Amazon something. It was going streaming. It was going on the stream, on the live stream. It was 19 seconds ahead of the TV. So just a reminder: if you guys gonna bet live bets, wait for a commercial break or a timeout, because you don't want to be in the wrong end of the odds. So you want to make good bets. So make sure you wait until there's a timeout or a commercial break for that.
I hear the point you're making, but at the same time, it's like if you're using this knowledge to make an assumption about what's going to happen next, I mean, whether it's 19 seconds ahead or behind it doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, yeah, but sometimes, if you watch certain, if you watch a lot of games, there's a certain flow you can feel for the game. I'm not as far as you can tell when the momentum is switching or something like that, in a way. So I understand what you're saying though. Also, just to let you know, if you want, if you every few minutes, if you check the chat, the Flyers game for the NHL, someone just mentioned it was played in Prague.
Oh, that's why it was so early.
So
That's all I got. I just want to let that, put that out there. Okay.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right.
All right,
Bye.
see you. Okay, so no wonder. Okay, so anyway, you got the old Capitals coach opening up his season against his old team. He coaches the Islanders now. Washington Capitals does equal 104. Today is 10/4. If the Capitals lost in overtime today, they would be 1-0-1 versus the Islanders, and Islanders is 101. If the Islanders lost in overtime and won their next game, they could do the 101 thing as well. But in light of the fact that Capitals 101 can hit today, I am leaning that way. The one thing that makes me scratch my head a little bit, though, is Barry Trotz, who coaches the Islanders, who used to coach the Capitals. It's 81 days after his birthday, and Capitals is 81, so I'm just thinking, shoot, I hope that doesn't mean the Capitals get the better of him, or maybe it means he's got the number of his old team. But today I'm leaning on the 101 riddles because of the 26-date numerology. So the way that hits in this game is if the Capitals lose in overtime. Let's see. Golden Knights and Sharks. If the Golden Knights lose today, who are favorites on the road at the Sharks, they'll be 1-0-1. And remember, the Sharks play at the SAP Center, which equals 101. So it's interesting how the group of games that are scheduled today, it seems that they all have a possibility at 101 or 26. And with Philadelphia leading off the day, it's got me thinking that the 101 is where it's at. Now, that said, there's usually a game that breaks the riddle, just like the opening night. 2 out of the 3, the 102 hit, but not in all 3. So that's one other thing to think about. But, I'm just going to keep it surface level hockey for the beginning of the season, see if we make any great observations that tell us something about the future. So there's that. If you got here late, we covered college football first. I liked the UCF to beat Cincinnati riddle. The 2 later games for baseball are tough calls today, but can think about what you might want to do here with these hockey games. I'm going to wrap it up here, though, you guys, because I got to get back on the grind for NFL football, which we'll talk about tomorrow. And, we'll leave it here because there's a lot more work to do. No rest for the weary. So... Oh, and by the way, did you guys notice the missed field goal last night? How many yards was that field goal that was missed from? 44. What did I tell you about 44-yard field goals? Just watch how often. They're the most likely field goal to go off the uprights, a 44-yard field goal, and they're the most likely to miss, especially in game deciding. Field goal equals 44 in the most pure cipher, and in last night's case, Seattle equals 44 as well. So we'll leave it there. All the notes are linked on the Patreon page. And I'll be back on the grind, so we'll reconvene tomorrow. Good luck, everybody. Till next time.